All right, and welcome into BP NFL. We're making the most of the start of the week with our Monday Night Football picks for when NFC powerhouses, the Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers, battle at Lambeau Field. We've got everything you need from a betting perspective. We've got game picks, player props, a same-game parlay, plus our anytime TD calls. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, standing tall with my buddy Scott Bogman. Boggs, we've got our work cut out for us to build back the bankroll after what was a disastrous, low-scoring Thursday night football game between the Raiders and the Broncos, my friend.
Ban Thursday night football, man. I am so sick of it. Let me just give you
Sure.
one of the lines from yesterday. The first game in NFL history, that neither team has scored more than 10 points. Neither team had more than 10 first downs, and both teams had 11 plus penalties. The last two Thursdays have turned back into the clock struck midnight on Thursday Night Football. It was enjoyable for a big chunk of the season. I think now we're going to have to go to unders on everything. This was horrific. It was terrible. Both teams were pathetic offensively. If you want to call it good defensive game, great, whatever, but it wasn't. It was a pathetic offensive performance for both teams. So very mad about Thursday Night Football, but we're going to put that away. We're going to concentrate on Monday. Let's go.
The one thing I will say, taking away from that Thursday night football game, Geno Smith, that guy is gritty. He might not be very good, but at least he's tough. He is tough. He stood in there when he was obviously hurt with the quad. So
going to be a great coach.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there.
Hopefully it's tomorrow. we're getting to the point, Seth, where I was saying, what does Pickett have? Right? Like, let's see it. He's been there for 3 months now. So
yeah.
What does Pickett have? Let's see it. It's two Steelers fans, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen what he's got. It's not better than Geno, but
it
might have been better last night.
It might have been. And as always, thank you to everyone who joins us for both the wins and the losses on either the BettingPros YouTube channel or the audio feed. The easiest free way to support us over here is to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. Also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of NFL and college football betting coverage this fall. And let's go ahead and get into the game picks where the Packers come into this one as 2.5-point favorites with the total set at 44.5. This was a bit surprising to me, Bogman, as the Eagles just had a chance to rest over the bye week. They're also off one of their better performances on offense of the year. They still were splurging at the trade deadline as well. They got offensive line or outside linebacker Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins. They got cornerbacks Jai Alexander from the Ravens, Michael Carter from the Jets. They come in here 6-2 straight up, 5-3 ATS on the season. Meanwhile, Green Bay, they're coming off a huge upset loss at home to the Carolina Panthers, dropping them to 5-2-1 straight up, 3-5 ATS this season. They're also losing their leading receiver for the rest of the year, tight end Tucker Kraft. He's been the linchpin there. So, Boggs, what are the keys to this game in your mind? And do you have any plays on the lines themselves?
I usually don't, but I like Philly in this game, even on the road. Like you said, I love the addition of Jalen Phillips to this line. He said it was the greatest thing that's ever happened to him, or whatever he said, to get out of Miami, which is hilarious. To leave Miami in November to go play football, to go to Philly, like a cold weather place, and to say it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you, that is awesome. That's how bad Miami is right now. So glad he got out, and my God, I am excited to see what he's got next to Davis and Carter in the middle of that line, clogging up things for him. I'm really excited to see what he has. But you mentioned it, like this Green Bay team has been wishy-washy here, right? Like even in the game against Pittsburgh, we saw a terrible first half and a great second half. They have been great in some games, and then they lost to Carolina at home last week, right? So I do expect this to be a better performance from Green Bay than it was against Carolina last week, but I'm going to take Philly coming off the bye with the extra rest, specifically for A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. I think that is huge for them. Like you mentioned, coming off their best offensive performance. So they're starting to hit their stride, and this is where we really see them start to pick it up. There's going to be a little bit of wind in this game, not terrible. I think it was around 9-10 miles an hour, possible snow as well. So it might be a gritty game. I think the snow is like 11%. It's just going to be below freezing. So if it does rain, that's going to turn into snow or the wintry mix or whatever. 27 degrees, I believe they said it was going to be. So cold, slobber knocker, defensive game. I would say I would take the under in this one.
Okay. Yeah. If you're going to lay it on the Eagles, where are you laying the points or are you going money line action?
On the road, I'll take the points. I don't mind a money line play though.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going on the Eagles money line. It was my upset special of the week earlier in the BP podcast for the overall NFL betting cards. And in the Jordan Love era here, Bugs, the Packers are 0-2 against the Eagles, albeit one of those games was at the link. One of those was in Brazil, but they lost both those games combined by an average of 8.5 points. So I think there's going to be some growing pains too for this Packers offense. They're trying to get the wide receivers back fully healthy. They're going to be without Tucker Kraft. I don't think Luke Musgrave is nearly the player Kraft was. So I think it's going to be uphill sledding here. And I really like the Eagles with 2 weeks to prepare. And you know this is a big spot. And this is one they've had circled just because of the playoff implications it could have. So I'm with you. I'm going on the money line here. So let's go Birds, baby. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Let's go.
Also, real quick, before we get to the player props, I wanted to shout out our presenting sponsor of the program. This is the golden time of year where it's not just pro football. NBA, college football, college hoops, and hockey all share the stage. There's always something to bet on, especially on Hard Rock Bet. And if you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock yet, there's still time to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you not only get your winnings back, but also $150 in extra bonus bets. And if you're looking for an edge before you lock in this week, check out the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. It's loaded with trends, streaks, and stats that will guide your picks. Numbers don't lie, and neither does the data in there. Check out the Stats Hub today. Get the edge and bet with confidence. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook for whenever you're in Florida, and it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado. Coming to more states soon, hopefully Pennsylvania. Looking forward to getting invested with Hard Rock Bet. Plus, Hard Rock also offers new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening to this, just open up the app and check out what they've got any day this week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. All right, Bogman, we are going to the player props where you're going back to a few overs. You also have some unders mixed in as well, but you are featuring one wide receiver who is back in the lineup after missing the Eagles' last game.
Yeah, I didn't want to go ahead and just take all unders and do the overreaction to Thursday Night Football, right? I mean, those guys are on short rest, blah, blah. You know, I'm not going to sit here and harp on Thursday Night Football any more than I already have. But yeah, A.J. Brown over 4.5 receptions. 4 of his last 5 games he's had 8 targets or more. The only one he had the huge game against Minnesota. 6 targets, 4 catches, 121, and 2 scores. He's a full practice on Friday. And I just think that A.J. Brown should be more involved. I didn't want to go with yards, but every projection I saw was over on both yards and reception. So I feel pretty good about A.J. Brown this week, playing fully, and they didn't trade him, right? That was kind of the thing. So I think if you don't trade him, you're coming off a bye week. Let's go ahead and get him the football. Like we saw Brock Bowers with the Raiders. I think we should see him get the ball a little bit more this week.
Yeah, it feels like these big physical wide receivers are the ones that the Packers cornerbacks seem to struggle with. We saw DK Metcalf get in the end zone a few weeks back when the Packers were in Pittsburgh. Tedero McMillan, not a huge game, but they didn't really need him last week. But he did catch 4 for 46 on 6 targets. So like he was efficient in what he got. And then, so yeah, I really like this play. You know, we saw Jamar Chase and T. Higgins kind of do their thing a couple weeks ago against the Packers secondary. It's better than I thought it was going to be heading into the season after getting rid of Alexander and, you know, relying on guys like former All-Pro kick returner Keyshawn Nixon as a staple in that secondary. But it's been not awesome.
Valentine's been good too. Yeah. They've had some decent players, but they can get got in the secondary a little bit. But not as much as the run game as displayed by Rico last week.
Yeah, and speaking of the run game, you are targeting the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, who is, by all accounts, seems to be close to full health.
Yeah, Saquon practicing and looking good right now. 77.5 is the total for him. Last game before the bye week, he was healthy. We just saw what Rico did to the Packers, right? And we've actually seen Saquon played Green Bay off of a bye week in 2023. He had 20 carries for 86 yards and 2 scores. Lots of limited practices up front for Green Bay this week as well. Wooden, Van Ness, both linebackers, Cooper and Walker, are just probably playing at less than 100%. They're still probably going to be good to go, and they're still going to be effective. They're good players. But, it's Saquon coming off a bye week with extra rest. Could be snow in this game. Hand him the ball. I think he explodes for a big one, and we get a lot of this in one game.
Yeah, I would be totally cool with that, man. Saquon, a bit of a slow start to the season. And, even the games where he pops off for a big run at the start, he sometimes, for whatever reason, seems to be kind of neutralized towards the middle part of the game. But I think that the Eagles are going to have a game plan to get him involved early and often in this one. So I'm there for that. We just saw Rico Dowdle, what he did to this offense. So I think we see more continued success for my former Penn State Nittany line there in Saquon Barkley. And let's go to the other side of this game where you have Josh Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers, but you're actually not expecting maybe the usual workload that we see for Joshua.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 18.5 rush attempts here. Now, the juice is not the greatest. It's minus 130, but good Lord, I got to get back on track here. So, he's dealing with that calf injury. He's been under this total 3 weeks in a row. And Matt LaFleur had a weird comment when asked about him today. He said, this is his quote. He says he feels great, speaking about Josh Jacobs. So that's a big plus. We're definitely a different team when he's fully involved in our offense, and we got to make him the focal point, whether he's getting the ball or not, which means that maybe he's going to be out there more on decoys or whatever. Maybe some play actions are going to be involved here for Green Bay, but just thought it was an interesting comment. And Emmanuel Wilson has picked up some carries in recent weeks with this calf injury for Jacobs. And if you want him to stay healthy for the long run, I don't think you want to run him 20 times. So 18.5, he's been under 3 weeks in a row. Let's keep rolling with that.
Yep, I agree. He even going back 4 weeks, just 18 rushing attempts for Josh Jacobs against the Bengals. So that would technically make it 4. And you said right. It, man. Wilson has done a very serviceable job at his role here. And Josh Jacobs snaps continue to be right in between that 50 and 60% range over the past 3 weeks, with Wilson garnering somewhere between 30 and 40. So I'm expecting a little more Emmanuel Wilson. I think, usually later in the week, we see backup running backs get their props released as well. So maybe Emmanuel Wilson is someone to get invested, kind of almost as a double investment in fading Josh Jacobs' usage in this one. And let's round out here, Bogman. You have 2 plays on the tight ends in this game, one being Dallas Goedert and one being Luke Musgrave, who finally back active, back on top of this depth chart after really last 2 years playing second fiddle to Tucker Kraft after a pretty nice rookie season for the kid.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dallas Goedert over 32.5 receiving yards. He's gone over this total on 1 catch twice already this season. Green Bay is middling against tight ends. The average lines for tight ends against Green Bay is 9 targets, 7 catches, 51.2 yards, and 0.6 touchdowns. So not the greatest. And we mentioned before, Walker and Cooper not quite 100% right now. So I'm going to go over 32.5 receiving yards for Goedert. We're going to go under 3.5 receptions for Luke Musgrave. This one is actually, I think I have the wrong juice here. So this one's juice is not great, but 2 top 10 coverage grade linebackers for Philly. Campbell and is 3rd, and Bond is 9th. And yes. Golden looks like he's good to go too. He's also a low ADOT guy. I was running back and forth considering all the options for Green Bay in my head. It's like, okay, we have Dobbs, and Golden. The corners for Philly are really good though. Maybe, Musgrave. I think somebody's going to eat here, but the projections are like right around under 200 yards passing for Jordan Love. So I just don't know that Green Bay is going to have a really good game against Philly, even at home, but Philly's coming off a bye week here. So we're going to go under 3.5 catches for Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man, because you look at what the Eagles have done as a whole on this season. They have limited tight ends to the 3rd least receptions per game and 3rd least receiving yards per game as well. Only 1 touchdown is found the striped area as well on the Eagles. So this is not the place I want to attack, is the middle of the defense. We know if it's DeJean lining up on potentially one of these tight ends, or if it's going to be Bond or any of these other linebackers, I'm going to avoid that, certainly. So something I'm not going to avoid, though, Boggs, is the BettingPros prop bet cheat sheet. Betting props on this week's action. The NFL prop bet cheat sheet shows you the best value plays every single day. Get daily prop bet value rankings based on projections. Find the best props on all major categories like passing, rushing, receiving. Use it now at bettingpros.com/props or on the BettingPros app. It's going to give you guys seriously such an edge when it comes to betting props. I had a 4-in-1 week last week, courtesy of the prop bet cheat sheets. I hope you guys can use it as well. And Boggs, let's get into my Seth's same game parlay of the week for Monday Night Football. And I've got a 2-legger paying out at plus 274. I'm going with that Eagles money line. We gave you the handicap of that earlier. I'm also going Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, baby, plus 125. And I said this on the Thursday Night Football show, Boggs, and it didn't come through, but I thought J.K. Dobbins was due.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Hurts might maybe due here as well. I think he's due for a little tush-push action right up the middle into the end zone. He's hit this prop in only 50% of his games this season, but just one in his last 4 and not in the last 2 games as well. Plus, the one game where the Eagles were not favored, they were at a pick'em against the Chiefs way back. I believe that was week 3. Hurts did find the end zone in that one. We know they're underdogs in this one as well. But the real reason I want to focus on this, Boggs, is because Green Bay, they are tied for the 5th most penalties per game at 7.8 and tied for the 5th most defensive passing interference calls against them with 7. So I think the Packers corners, whether that's Valentine, Nixon, maybe Nate Hobbs, I think one of them is going to get a little handsy on AJB or Devonta Smith. Philly could get in on the 1-yard line then, and we know, while I do think Barkley is close to 100%, I don't think he's fully at 100%. So I think why not go ahead, use the brotherly shove once again, especially because this might be the last year you can use it on the Packers.
It definitely might be. I do like I like AJ Barner. I would love to see Darnell Washington take a tush push here pretty soon for us. So
yes,
Jalen Hurts might be the best at it right now, but put some of those monsters in it. And I think that's when you're going to start getting it illegal. And Jeffrey Simmons is getting it for the Titans and, monsters like that. When we're all going to fridge, getting the ball at the goal line, like Super Bowl 20, I think this stuff might start to go away. We'll see.
Yeah, I was hoping to see a little more Tyler Warren doing that this season for my fantasy team.
They don't need him to.
Yeah, I was about to say that he has had a rushing touchdown, but he was lined up at fullback, not under the tush push. So, but we're going to keep it rolling while we can. And if you guys want to build your own same game parlays, the best way to do that is by using the BettingPros same game parlay builder. Our same game builder helps you stack legs that make sense together. So if one hits, the others are also more likely to hit. It even suggests connected bets as you go, so you're not just guessing. Stack logical, high-value combos of bets together today with our same game parlay builder at bettingpros.com/parlay or on the BettingPros app. Let's get to the touchdown calls and get out of here on that. Boggs, you know where I'm going. Jalen Hurts plus 120. I think it's a great number because I remember last year we were betting minus 150, minus 140 sometimes. So I like a little plus 120 off the
I didn't see yours on the sheet. You can go over to Hard Rock right now and get this at plus 130, by the way. So
I must have risen in the last hour.
Go ahead and say it was on mine. I was looking at the Arizona one. So, but check that out. So in some spots you're getting even better. But like you said, man, if you're getting plus on Jalen Hurts at any point in the season, we're taking that. Usually Joey has to cut these in half and go first half Jalen Hurts to get to the plus. So we don't have to in this game. So we're not going to plus 130 on Hurts. We're just going to go ahead and double up on that one. I think that's the best bet of this game. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear we're rolling and rocking together once again this Monday afternoon, evening, night, whenever you're watching the football game, depending where you are. And that is going to do it for us on this Monday Night Football edition of BP NFL. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite picks for Week 10 Monday Night Football. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you're new. Plus, don't forget to download the free BettingPros app today and sync your sportsbooks. For Scott Big Time Bogman, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.